Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with a video talking about Intimidate in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'll be discussing which Pokemon will be coming back and which won't be coming back in Pokemon Sword and Shield itself. This video doesn't cover any leaked Pokemon at all, so if you want to stay spoiler free, you can actually watch this video unless you consider the Pokemon that are and are not coming back spoils. If that's the case, feel free to click off the video. Otherwise, let's get into this. So this first Pokemon is apparently very popular in both VGC and singles. I haven't seen it too much, but Landorus Therian form is not coming back in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I swear to you, if it wasn't for the Bring Back National Dex thing that's going on, I bet you if they literally made a 30-second trailer or a 5-second trailer that says Landorus Therian will not be returning to Pokemon Sword and Shield, the whole world would flip out of excitement, because I know that this Pokemon brings so much controversy, man. This mon has a ridiculous amount of OU usage, and it's been getting better and better and better every single generation. And for once since its release, it actually will not be in this generation going forward. Now, obviously, this has a huge role when it comes to OU as well as VGC. It's great at VGC as a pivot, as a scarfer as well. It was good in doubles OU too. And obviously, you guys already know what Landorus Therian form can do in the OU tier. Not only being a great scarfer and Z-move user, even though Z-moves, of course, are not going to be there. So we actually don't get to see a Dynamax Landorus Therian form. But also a great defensive pivot, and at the same time, an incredible wall for a lot of physically offensive threats due to its Intimidate. So Landorus Therian, you won't be seeing it on every single team come Pokemon Sword and Shield. Another Pokemon that's actually extremely popular in VGC as well, I believe there was a point where Incineroar took over, like, it was like #1 in usage if I'm not mistaken, because of its ability to fake out, U-turn, knock off Darkest Lair, whatever you want to run on this Pokemon. It's not going to be making it back either. And I'm a little bit sad about this in terms of like lower tiers. Obviously, this video is going to be talking about my thoughts in terms of the generation we have now. I cannot predict the metagame that I don't know any stats for of any Pokemon at all, right? But a little bit sad to see Incineroar go. As a lower tier Pokemon, it was absolutely fantastic. Great bulk all around. Intimidate obviously made it a lot better, both in VGC and in singles itself. And I'm going to miss this thing because it was such a great check to a lot of types. It's so bulky. Krookodile, we're losing a Pursuit Trapper as well as one of the most famous UU Choice Scarf Pokemon. Choice Scarf Krookodile is UU's best Choice Scarfer, in my opinion, besides like Hydreigon or anything like that. So losing Krookodile, losing a great Pursuit Trapper. And this is pretty big for Draft League as well. I think that Krookodile has always been such a valid pick. Not only having, obviously, the Intimidate, but Moxie as well. Being a ground and dark type, beautiful resistances, stab Earthquake, and stab knockoff. Definitely the one that I think hits the hardest next to these two, for me at least. Salamence as well is not going to be coming back, and a little bit sad about that. Obviously, Salamence already would have lost its Mega because there are no Megas in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but a fantastic Pokemon that kind of went under the radar due to the insane power creep we had in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. There were times where, yeah, a Z-move Salamence could do it, but in a new metagame without any Z-moves or anything, I kind of wanted to see how this Pokemon would perform once being a Titan in Gen 4, right? Actually being banned from Gen 4 OU. I would have loved to see how it did here, but missing Salamence kind of sucks. Especially because in this generation coming out, there's no Landorus T, right? Imagine a physical Pokemon like Salamence. And that's a big thing too, right? Even though Landorus being gone opens up a lot of physical attackers, we don't know. We do know. There's actually a list of Pokemon that are coming back, but we don't know about the new Pokemon exactly, if they're physical, if they're special or anything. So Salamence could have actually been really good, potentially, in a Landorus Therian-less meta. Staraptor is also not returning, and while that doesn't matter too much for Intimidate, unless you're running like a bulkier set on like monotype battles, which runs like a defog support set, it does suck because we lose the Reckless Bird, and this might have actually been the one generation where Staraptor was OU instead of being banned to BL like it always is every single time, simply due to the fact that we lack other Intimidate users as well as strong walls, as well as certain legendaries. Because it's mentioned in my other video, Tornadus Therian isn't in the game, Landorus isn't in the game, Thundurus also isn't in the game. So like a whole bunch of Well, it doesn't necessarily matter for Staraptor too much, besides maybe Landorus, but being able to spam Double Edge. Tauros isn't in the game either, and again, Intimidate matters a little bit less on this Pokemon. I don't know if people actually use Tauros in VGC. I know I saw an Anger Point set once with like Smeargle plus Tauros to crit it with a move and activate Anger Point, but that's about it. I think I saw a Crocodile do that as well. But losing Sheer Force Tauros, interesting considering it's Gen 1, and you know everybody says they pander to Gen 1, but we're losing Tauros here, and once again, like something with 110 speed, base 100, and the lack of these mons. It's crazy how good I think these could have been without these Pokemon in the tier, specifically this mon. Would have loved to use a Sheer Force Tauros with like Earthquake, you know, Double Edge, Body Slam, whatever you want to put on it. Fire Blast as well. Like even though it has 40 special attack, man, you still 2 KO Ferrothorn, which is in the game. Auerbach I don't think matters so much, maybe for lower tiers, but not necessarily. That's just a random Pokemon. You might use Shed Skin as well with Coil, whatever. Gramble in terms of lower tiers as well as being a nice fighting type check. Again, doesn't matter too much in terms of the higher tiers, but obviously for them. Mightyena, I don't think ever used Intimidate. It used Moxie with like Crunch, Sucker Punch, so that's whatever. Luxray as well. Would have loved to see this Pokemon come back in maybe a Galarian form, right? Being Electric and Dark type, because Luxray should have been Electric and Dark type. But again, like Intimidate maybe on like a bulkier pivot set was something that was used, but for the most part, I think that Guts Flame Orb was another set. But it's just shy of being a good Pokemon. And I feel like if you made it into Sword and Shield, they're going to give you buffs, right? On certain Pokemon. They're going to give you buffs on certain Pokemon. And I felt like a little bit more speed on Luxray could have made it gone a long way, especially with no Landorus, right, in the Therian. Imagine me just being able to spam Facade and Wild Charge and all that stuff with the Guts boost. And Stoutland, which honestly should have been around here, my bad. Stoutland should not have been in the back. In Draft League, I think Stoutland is beautiful, right? 3 fantastic abilities. You can run even support set with like things like Thunder Wave, right? This mon for some reason learns Thunder Wave. It's a normal type, but it kind of sucks for sand-based teams as well. Again, the whole when Landorus is gone, physical Pokemon come to play. But when the physical Pokemon leave too, it's like I don't know. It's just really sad for mons like Stoutland that don't also have a chance. Would have loved to see it on sand teams with Tyranitar, which actually did manage to come back, and I'll be talking about the OU Pokemon that did come back in one of my following videos, because I just want to make a whole bunch of discussion videos because this stuff is really exciting. I like talking about it, and I want to know your guys' thoughts as well. As far as the Pokemon, like I said, I think this is going to affect VGC the most. Salamence probably too, and like I think these 4 will affect VGC the most. Obviously these 2, 100%, but these as well are the ones that at least affect VGC. As far as Pokemon with Intimidate that do come back, some pretty good VGC toys are still back. Gyarados, Arcanine, Hitmontop, and Scrafty are all used in VGC or have been at a point, whether it had been like a Dragon Dance Z Gyarados with Protect, and Arcanine as your Kartana pivot, as well as I think it also learns Snarl, right? Yep, Snarl, thank you. Though Arcanine, don't know if I obviously Incinerate like U-turn and things like that and Fake Out, but Arcanine being a nice little pivot there, being a nice Kartana answer as well. Gyarados specifically is going to be really, really interesting in this metagame. Without, you know, a lot of ways people used to deal with a Gyarados and even a Mega Gyarados, which of course Megas don't exist, is they would switch out into their Choice Scarf Landorus on the Dragon Dance because -1 Gyarados can't KO Landorus with Waterfall anyway, and they go for like maybe Explosion or Stone Edge depending on how weakened Gyarados was, and they deal with it. But Gyarados not having to deal with that. However, Rotom is still in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and without Z moves, without a Mega to have the Mold Breaker into Earthquake, a Levitate Rotom, interesting to see how Gyarados will be in this game. As well as Ferrothorn is also in the game as well, so I don't know. Gyarados is going to be interesting. I think there are definitely going to be teams where it can excel, but I don't think it's going to be like... I mean, I definitely can see it being OU, but I don't know enough about the new mons, right? We know nothing about the new mons. Arcanine itself, obviously, still can be a check to things. And like I said, in terms of VGC, Scrafty, Hitmontop, Arcanine, and Gyarados are all still pretty solid. These two both providing Fake Out support, Wide Guard as well, if I'm not mistaken, with this mon. I know that Wolf used... like an eject button Hitmontop or Scrafty at points too, and they can Intimidate Shuffle, so that'll be pretty big for VGC. In terms of Mawile and Qwilfish, I think unless you're playing Draft League, you won't be using Intimidate on Mawile. You might not be using Mawile anyway, but maybe if you're playing lower tiers, You can use it as an Intimidate Stealth Rocker, which is something that I have seen, or in Draft League as well. But Sheer Force, Life Aura, Mawile losing its Mega is, the thing that made Mawile be from, it's not a forgetful Pokemon. I think that Mawile is definitely something I never forgot after I saw it in game, right? But from something that's bottom tier all the way to arguably one of the most broken Pokemon in Ultra Sun and Moon OU, right? But obviously losing that kind of sucks. In VGC, Mega Mawile was used with Intimidate prior to Mega Evolving. I don't think Mawile will be used in VGC now because it cannot Mega Evolve to have that strength. But these mons just cover so much more over that. But yeah. And Qwilfish, again, is another Intimidate user, and that's something that can be used in lower tiers as a spiker in front of fighting types. Obviously, absorbs T-Spikes, Spikes and T-Spikes itself, can Scald, can Destiny Bond, can Taunt, can Thunder Wave. And if you're using it maybe in a higher tier, you might use it as an actual Swift Swim user. This Pokemon isn't terrible under Rain, especially with moves like Explosion and Swords Dance and things like that. So Qwilfish might end up being a threat in whatever becomes UU. There's very limited Pokemon that we have, and we don't know anything about the new Pokemon itself yet in terms of stats and abilities. So as for now, these are the Pokemon that are not returning, and obviously these two are huge, and these are Pokemon that will be coming back. Now, in terms of what we already have for Pokemon Sword and Shield and what we've seen, obviously Corviknight is a Pokemon that does benefit from Intimidate Pokemon due to its hidden ability, which is Mirror Armor, which reflects any stat lowering effects. So you have Corviknight out, your opponent brings out an Intimidate Mon, Mirror Armor activates, it lowers their attack instead. So that could be pretty cool. Not sure on its stats just yet, obviously, but Steel and Flying is beautiful. Historically, Steel and Flying is a fantastic typing. What do you think? We have Skarmory, we got Celesteela, so those mons are great. Obviously, they provide specific roles. Skarmory has spikes and whirlwinds and doesn't die, and Celesteela is amazing in both a defensive and offensive approach. So, don't know how much it means for actually Corviknight. Obviously, it's pretty cool, though, for like stopping him on top, Scrafty, and maybe even Gyarados. Arcanine doesn't care, man. It can still Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Will-O-Wisp, whatever. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys, on Landorus Therian not coming back in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Again, me personally, I feel like this would have such a greater impact on the metagame itself had more Pokemon come back, right, without this. Like, I would have loved to run a Crocodile in a metagame where there's no Landorus Therian, right? Crocodile actually has seen some usage in Ultra Sun and Moon OU recently. I know ABR popularized a team, and a few other people have been using it as well. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for today. Of course, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more. I have a whole bunch of Sword and Shield content coming out, Wi-Fi battles, showdown lives, how to use guides once we get all them stats and all that stuff. And it's all right to, upload that stuff. I can't wait. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, my friends.